maybe you missed some previous webinars. I will remind you. Technoton is manufacturing company of fuel flow meters, fuel level sensors, axle load sensors, and other equipment in CAN bus. We continue our topic, and today I will talk about DFM fuel flow meters. Let's check our sound. Hope everything is clear. You can hear me well. Let's start. I will talk today, as I mentioned, about fuel flow meters. On previous slide, you can find the whole line of our fuel flow meters product lines. I will talk about first part, small and differential fuel flow meters up to 600 liters per hour. But we also produce DFM marine wireless fuel flow meters, BLE, and also DFM industrial. About other lines, we will talk on Friday and further in our online webinars. Differential fuel flow meters and one-chamber flow meters here. It can be autonomous and with output interface, Pulse, CAN, Modbus, RS-232, 45, and others. Purpose of all fuel flow meters is to measure fuel consumption directly in engine lines, because fuel flow meter measure engine fuel line as a feed going from tank to the pump of engine, and also return line going from the engine back to the tank. Not mathematical calculation, everything direct from the engine. Goals is to monitor real fuel consumption, machine running time tracking, fuel consumption optimization, preventing fuel theft, engine diagnostics, and consumption rate. Application of fuel flow meters you can find actually everywhere. Lots of cases, machinery, vehicles, vessels, all of them have diesel engines. Even in our website, you can find cases with the description where DFM is already installed in trucks, tractors, locomotives, vessels, stationary equipment like boilers, burners, generators. Advantages of fuel consumption. Actually, there are a lot of advantages, and for you as a partners, big opportunity to make sales and open new markets for your business. Direct consumption measurement in fuel lines of engine means it's not mathematical calculation like CAN bus auto vehicle. Everything is measured directly from engine itself. Accurate data regardless of vehicle position and fuel tank shape. Really, if, for example, in buses there are so crazy shape of fuel tanks, and sometimes it's so difficult to calibrate accurately in order to get accurate data. That's why much easy to install flow meter on engine and get precise fuel consumption and compare with fuel fillings and fuel thefts. Even like in position, for example, in mining application, when mining or construction equipment is working stationary without moving for a long time, fuel level sensors will not get and provide accurate data because fuel level is not changed, but fuel consumption is changed. Over 40 counters of fuel consumption and machinery working time in various engines, load modes like idling, optimal, overload. Really, DFM allows to divide operation modes, both fuel consumption and engine modes, into different loads of engine, and we call it like idling, optimal, and overload. Detection of fuel theft from return fuel lines. Really, sometimes professional drivers, they know how to steal fuel from return line of engine. DFM shows in graphics and prevents this fuel theft from return line. Robust design, measuring chamber of zinc and aluminum allow, also embedded mud filter and built-in battery. Different types of fuel flow meters. One chamber flow meters with interface or without interface, with inbuilt display or without inbuilt display. Also differential fuel flow meters, as well as with interface and without, only with display. Specification, I won't talk a lot here on this slide because you can find easily technical specification in our document center or in operation manual, where you even can download from document center. Of course, after small registration in our website. How to order fuel flow meters according to identification codes. Not so difficult, I believe, for you, but I will explain a little bit deeper here. X means fuel flow rates up to 50, 1000, 250, or 500 liters per hour. Also available 600 liters per hour. Y means model without display, with display, or with display and extended functionality. For example, with besides fuel consumption, you wish to see engine working hours directly on display. D and Z means D means differential. Z means interface. We can offer pulse interface 232, 485, also including Modbus and CAN interface. I will talk deeper further about specification and advantages of different interfaces. Increased accuracy version is provided with special letter U, and P means, for example, HP modes. It's with a higher fuel flow rate, up to 600 liters per hour. It's available for differential fuel flow meters. Let's go further. DFM fuel flow meter design. We have with display and without display, as I mentioned. Those models that have display, they also have inbuilt battery inside. All fuel flow meters have mud filter that can be cleaned after it's getting dirty. And measuring chamber, it's durable because of special allows that I mentioned in previous slide, and covered with special material that gives you durable working during the whole lifetime of fuel flow meter itself on engines. Operation principle is pretty easy to understand on this slide, I believe. DFM utilizes positive displacement principle, fuel flowing through measuring chambers, forces measuring ring to slide along the axis. Each revolution of the ring is equal to the volume of displayed fuel. Ring revolutions are detected by flow meters, electronics, and transferred into data counters. Actually, in simple words, it's ring principle movement, not turbine and not other specifications that you can find in bigger flow meters available in further webinars. Technology S6. Actually, we developed S6 network It's called by our brand S6. It allows to connect up to 8 flow meters into a complete line. Very convenient on vessel, for example, or several generators. It's possible to combine all flow meters into one line only when you're using candid freeze. Even we develop new functionality besides 8. We can connect 16 flow meters into one line. So it will mean 8 or 16 engines will be functioning in one place. One connection to power and also one connection to telematics device by CAN port. Technology, IoT Burger technology, probably you already known from previous presentation webinars that all our products are developed based on IoT Burger technology. It means onboard data processing, so all data processed directly on electronics of DFM fuel flow meters. 40 counters and even more saved in internal memory and transferred over CAN signal to telematics device. Detection of interference and tampering, ignition on off, and also other events like errors are saved in a special journal, and you can see if someone is tampering with your device or someone interferes into operation of vehicle or DFM. Self-diagnostics and saving error codes in advanced journal, as I already said, it's those codes also transmitted online via CAN interface to telematics device. So there is no need to go on site and see what's going wrong with engine or fuel flow meter on site. You can see it everything online. Fuel consumption and engine operation time data, total and split by workload modes, means you can divide fuel consumption by different working modes, and operation times also will be divided to idling, optimal, or overload modes. And plus, you will add modes like tampering, interference. Going further, what we can find on display of fuel flow meters. A lot of parameters, actually. Here we can see 14 parameters. It's total fuel consumption counter, engine operation time. You can read, I believe, this slide. But I would say everything important to know about fuel consumption. Working hours, you can also to see everything in high resolution high resolution data, and it's also clearable counters to see data per period of time or some type of operation. At the beginning you clear, and at the end of day or time of working, you see what's the fuel consumption and engine operation time. Besides main counters that are saved as all the time. It's instant fuel consumption and total fuel consumption during the whole work of fuel flow meter. Event registration, as I already said, if something goes wrong with DFM, interference occur or some tampering or errors, DFM see and saves events into their special journal. Protection from interference. Let's imagine what interference can appear. Interference with magnet, number and duration of attempts. This data will be provided by DFM. tempering, artificial flow volume and duration of tempering attempt, negative consumption, also artificial flow volume and flow duration through return chamber. Those counters are saved in internal memory of DFM, and if you're using CAN interface, it will be provided to your telematics device via CAN network. How fuel graphs look in telematics software? Of course, every software has specific configuration, but if you can create fuel graphs from fuel flow meters, it will look similar like on this slide. Instant fuel consumption, besides this graph total fuel consumption, with green and orange lines, or I would say maybe it's brown to someone. And as you are getting data about other modes like tempering, overload, optimal, or idling, you can create also graphs specifically to these modes of engine. Let's compare some interfaces on DFM. As I mentioned, DFM fuel flow meters can be with pulse interface, RS-232, 485, and also CAN. In case with pulse interface, you will get only pulses. Based on pulses, you will need to calculate fuel consumption and engine working hours. So nothing more, and other parameters will be saved only in DFM itself. To see them, you will need to get to site, attend with the service kit, and see internally memory of DFM. In case with DFM 232 and 485 interface, you can see already more parameters transmitted online, like temperature, low resolution total fuel consumption, hourly fuel consumption rate, and some others, but with Modbus interface. A second slide, it's also second list of parameters, whole parameters DFM provide. But the most advantages on CAN interface, actually CAN interface provides all counters and all parameters online. Even it's saved directly on electronics of DFM, but those counters are also sent and provided to telematic device online. No need to go on site to see something deeper. Even errors, it's very convenient. And on CAN interface, it's also easy to integrate with new telematic devices. I will talk later at the end of this presentation about compatibility with devices. Our product is wireless DFM fuel flow meter. Interface is BLE, Bluetooth communication. Really convenient in installation and configuration. It saves time when you use, you no need to use cable. Okay, we continue. Sorry for this interruption. but it's small relax to switch your attention. So let's continue. Hope line is good now. We were talking about DFM with BLE interface. It's our new development, and this year we just started new sales, pretty new in the market. BLE device easy in installation and configuration, because in some cases it's difficult to use long signal cable. So in BLE, as you understand, you no need to use signal cable. And sometimes cabling system is also expensive, and BLE easily replaces cabling system. Allows driver to see fuel data from a monitor or phone or tablet. Also convenient for drivers that they take care of their equipment itself, or during operation of time, it's important for drivers to see how engine is running at this particular time. Allows fleet technician to check engine and fuel flow meter easily on site. It means no need to connect service adapter and connect to PC, upload special program. You just connect with your tablet via BLE and program and see what the fuel flow rates, counters, etc. on DFM itself. Selection according to high pressure pump. As you know, different engines they have different pumps, and not easy and sometimes not possible at all to install one chamber flow meter. And in this case, you will need to install only differential fuel flow meters. I would say differential will work everywhere, and even it's easy. Even small engine or bigger engine, differential measures fuel consumption different between feed line and return line and transmit to GPS tracker. But for example, on unit injector fuel system and common rail system, you will need only differential. Not possible to modify one chamber flow meter. In some old engines and simple, like GF inline pump and distributor pump, it's possible to install one chamber flow meter. Sometimes it's lower cost of one chamber flow meter, and in case you are able to modify fuel system. When I'm talking about modify fuel system, it means you need to circle fuel lines. So feed line will not go back to tank. It will go again to the pump. And fuel will be circling inside these small lines around the engine, around the pump. That's why it means need to modify fuel system, fuel lines. When you install a differential fuel flow meter, you attach chambers to feed and return line without any modification of engine. Even on new engines, you save guarantee of the vehicle and engine itself. Let's go further. Hope you are not tired of my talking. About mounting kits, I would say here that we provide different mounted kits specifically to DFM models, and we help to find special adapters according to your fuel lines, because you should understand the engines, they have fuel lines with different size, different threads, and sometimes mounting kits are universal, sometimes not. But we do all the best to provide reliable mounting kits. It's durable, and in most cases you can use it easily with our DFM models and with your tubes of fuel lines. Service software for PC, it means during installation you will need to use a service kit, service adapter, and service software installed on PC. It allows to see fuel flow rate in real time per feed and return line, and also the fuel consumption is indifferent. It it actually protects you from wrong installation. When you see that no air bubbles, no crazy fuel lines on these graphs, it will mean that the installation is done accurately and your customer will satisfied with the work further during functionality of fuel flow meter. That's why at the beginning of purchase of one device, we always recommend to use service software to protect you from wrong installations. Service kits can be with cable connecting to computer or with BLE connection. It's just a Bluetooth adapter to computer, or with phone adapter, you can see it. Compatibility with telematic devices. Lots of telematic devices you can find here already compatible with our products. But besides that, we can easily to make compatibility with new devices based on CAN interface, because CAN interface is universal. It's based on JANE 1939 protocol, and compatibility, new compatibility goes really easy. Autonomous fuel consumption monitoring. Here you can find examples on tractors, John Deere and MTZ. No need to use even telematics device. You can install autonomous flow meter and see operation time and fuel consumption directly from engine using screen and magnetic key to switch from one screen to another screen to see data. We call to see data offline. When we're talking about telematics, you can use the DFM fuel flow meter in one network. For example, in vessels, you attach different engines and several fuel flow meters into one line. And for example, on our ORF software, you can create dashboard. We call online dashboard, and simultaneously you will see running of several engines in one time. So fuel consumption, engine hours on one screen. You can see this green, orange, and red pictures on the right side of slide. Of course, if you wish to see in reality how it looks, we will show in our software. Even in demo version, some parameters already available, but to go further for online dashboard by managers, it can be done and provided to you as an example. Predictive maintenance is very important for generators and generally for engines, but in this case, we'll talk about generators. For example, if mud filters or fine filters on engines are dirty, it will mean that feed and return chambers flow rates will be decreasing. Fuel consumption goes up sharply, and this is a signal for you to diagnose engine. Probably something wrong with engine, or another reason, it's filters are already dirty. You need to clean. As soon as you clean, fuel flow rates will be returned to initial flow lines. Actually, on these graphs, it's a real example on generator when we used flow meters, not specifically to measure fuel consumption, but for predictive maintenance. So let's make a summary of our presentation. We were talking about accurate fuel consumption and engine operation time. With the DFM fuel flow meter, we can see total and fuel consumption divided to different modes like idling, optimal, and overload modes. Also, additionally, with tempering and interference. Operation time of engine and fuel pump, and also divided to separate modes. Secondly, we were talking about protection from interference, All events are recorded by DFM memory, and some errors are provided online to telematics device. We were talking about S6 networks that allows to connect up to 8 fuel flow meters into one line, or even more. It was recently development that our network already allows connect up to 16 fuel meters. And of course, if you wish to add fuel level sensors, it's also available to do with S6 network. DFM measures fuel consumption and machinery operation time even without external battery, external power. Sorry, it means all DFMs has external battery, and even with inbuilt display, external battery provides operating time and functionality of DFMs when power is cut. But one maybe addition here, if you need to transmit data to telematics device, power should be presented as well. Well, I believe that's all. Please pay attention to last slide. Here is our different websites, and really, I believe lots of them. Document Center, our main website, S6 Technology website. It's deeper about CAN and J9029 interface. Facebook and LinkedIn, YouTube. I think we're everywhere. If you follow us, you will be getting lots of useful information. Maybe I didn't show you fuel flow meters, like for example, how it looks like in reality. Wireless BLE fuel flow meters. I will show you just an example. 3D view you will find in our website. Small differential 100 with interface, and one chamber flow meters. It looks like this one. I believe you see it. So let's proceed with your questions. Are Bluetooth battery replaceable? To be honest, I'm not sure how to reply accordingly to battery replacement, because we need to look at electronics dashboard, and I'm not sure that it will be allowed to replace battery itself. But I will talk to our technical guys and confirm it later about battery replacement exactly on Bluetooth version. Is there a function to show the consumption, for example, for 5 days backwards on the onboard display? Yes. Imagine DFM has counter with total fuel consumption. Besides that, it has counter researchable, or in presentation it was said clearable. It means that at the beginning of 5 days, you clear this counter and see fuel consumption data at the end of 5 days. It's like 1 week functionality. But main counter, total fuel consumption, will be saved as well. Hello, any configurable internal outputs or output? External module via CAN? Well, I'm not. I don't understand clear this question. Probably we'll talk later deeper with this guy, Jose. But I would comment that CAN interface, it's universal based on J1939 protocol, and output is also configurable. You can use messages and parameters as you wish. Not all of them, like 40 and more, even there are 3,000 parameters. But you can configure for parameters that you need specifically for you. Probably this question means exactly this about configuration, I believe. So we will talk with Jose later. How do we specify inlet and outlet sizes for fuel lines in your ordering structure, and what standard sizes are available? I will comment and reply here. We have different size of fuel flow meters. Let's talk about differential fuel flow meters. One differential fuel flow meter is DFM 100D, 100 liters per hour, and the size of this chamber is 5 millimeters. Another type of fuel flow meter differential 250D. It means maximum 250 liters per hour, and the size of this internal chamber is 12.5 millimeters. And third type is DFM 500D, 500 liters per hour, and size of this internal chamber is 20 millimeters. Even on DFM, you find lines, for example, like feed line and return line. So it's easy to understand what chambers should be connected to fuel lines of engine. So not so difficult to miss, I believe. Will these units also count airflow, or do they have air eliminators? In case air bubbles exist in engine, you should connect deaerator. This device is connected separately because rare cases when you need to install those deaerators. But you should understand that airflow shouldn't exist in fuel lines. If air appear in fuel lines, it will be obvious that engine is working wrong way, and air bubbles even can cause shutdown the engine, or by the way influence. No air bubbles, airflow should be in the system. If you see, you use the aerator separately. Will DFM S7 here, I believe, be ATEX approved? We already approved fuel level sensors for exposure-proof wireless. We're talking about it in previous webinars. And we are working on improvement and documentation ATEX also on DFM S7. As soon as it's released, we'll inform about this document, of course, to all partners. Can I use third-party telematics device to read the BLE flow meter data? Yes, you can. Depending on interface, actually, telematics device, those telematics device, third party, should how to say should understand our protocol. So preliminary integration should be done. We already done with different third-party telematic devices, and we practice that it's not difficult process and not long time. But as soon as both units are configured and compatible, you can use with third-party devices. Protocol is opened, so you are welcome to make compatibility with our S7. How many events can the flow meter store when it doesn't have connection CAN? And can the S7 store any data? Flow meters flow meters itself, as I mentioned, has IoT burger technology. It means all counters are inside the DFM itself. The question is only if how to transmit by interface. If it's scan interface, you transmit all parameters. If it's pulse interface, then those counters are saved only on DFM. You will see it only on site using service kit. And when connection is lost, like let's say scan connection interface is lost, then counters are saved in the memory of the DFM itself. So counters are accumulating data forever without any miss of data. And of course, it's 7 the same case. S7, I mean. How long can your internal power supply last before requiring to replace the internal battery? Power supply is durable. There is no any time limit for power supply. If your power supply is standard battery of the vehicle. So if battery of the vehicle is alive, then you have power supply to DFM. And if you don't use power supply, and we are talking here about internal battery, then lifetime for the battery is 3 years. It's, I believe, a long time to have DFM functional. Is it compatible with satellite GPS trackers? Yes, it's compatible. You should understand that the connection between flow meter and satellite GPS tracker goes via some interface. For example, if it's CAN cable, it's CAN or pulse or any other interface, but then GPS tracker provides satellite into the cloud, and satellite is the question of GPS tracker. But compatibility with GPS tracker and DFM is based on cabling, or S7 if it's already released between both devices. Could I get all data from your flow meter via register of your data memory by Modbus protocol? Yes, you can. Modbus protocol is opened. If you need, we will provide, and you will make compatibility with your device and read Modbus protocol. Sorry. And if possible, so do I remap your Modbus register form to use for master Modbus device. To make change of Modbus protocol is not possible. So development of our Modbus registers it's done only by us, by our engineers. So you can just read and use it at your side to protect. Does the BLE flow meter has low battery notification? I'm not sure about this question, and I will transfer this question to technical support to get precise reply about notifications. Is all output data is a pulse signal? Do you specify any specific tracking device? Do you have tracking devices? Yes, we develop and we provide complete system. We also have GPS tracking devices, our own GPS tracking devices. And not all pulse signal as output data. As I mentioned, different interfaces, RS-232, RS-485, CAN, Modbus, besides pulse signal. I can see why you need a picture of the engine to decide about the flow meter needed. Is it a question? I would say here, if you need to choose proper fuel flow meter, we will help. Even you just name name of your engine, and we will provide what the model you will need. So easy to understand and choose what of model flow meter you will need in your case. Will the flow meter function when the fuel line is not filled with the fuel? It means when transferring fuel in a tank when it's almost empty, there is a mixture of fuel and air. Will the flow measure still be accurate? Flow meter will be functioning even if you blew air through the chambers, but of course fuel consumption will not accurate because air exists in the system, and difficult to understand if there are what's the percentage of air, what's the percentage of fuel to understand accurate fuel measurements. That's all. So hopefully everything is clear. We'll be glad to see you on Friday. Probably my colleagues will proceed talking about other types of flow meters, DFM marine or DFM industrial. It's for big engines and big vessels or big generators. Thank you. Have a good day.